Marcus has been sleeping with someone else.
Nobody saw it coming. Not the 200 guests, not the wedding planner, not Angela's mother in the front row, not Marcus, because Marcus had been very careful. For 14 months, he had kept his two lives completely separate, different phones, different routes, different stories for different people. The one thing he had not accounted for was his best friend. If you are not subscribed to Turning Point Tales yet, hit that subscribe button. Now let's get to it. Marcus Reed and Derek Cole had been best friends since they were 11 years old. Same school, same block, same everything for 22 years. When Marcus proposed to Angela, Derek was the first person he called. When he needed someone to stand beside him at the altar, Derek was the only name on the list. Marcus trusted Derek completely. He just did not know what Derek knew. Angela Brooks had met Marcus 4 years earlier. She was a primary school teacher, warm, steady, the kind of woman who remembered everyone's birthday and meant it when she asked how you were doing. She had given Marcus everything, her time, her trust, her future. She had planned a wedding for 9 months. She had found the dress on a Tuesday afternoon and cried in the fitting room. Happy tears. The kind you cry when your life is going exactly where you wanted it to go. She did not know about Simone. Simone Davis was 27 years old. She worked in marketing. She had met Marcus at a work conference 14 months before the wedding. She also did not know about Angela. Not at first. Marcus had told her he was single. He had been convincing enough. She had believed him for 7 months. Then she found the engagement announcement on social media with photographs of Marcus and Angela, smiling, happy, looking exactly like two people who had been together for years, because they had. Simone sat with that for 3 days. Then she did something Marcus had not expected. She called Derek. She had met Derek once. At a dinner Marcus had taken her to. Back when he was still pretending she was just a colleague, Derek had been polite. He had not asked questions, but he had noticed things. When Simone called him, 7 months before the wedding, Derek already suspected. He just did not have confirmation. Simone gave him confirmation, all of it. Screenshots, dates, a hotel receipt she had kept. 7 months of evidence that Marcus had been building 2 lives simultaneously. Derek listened to everything. Said, "I need to think about this." Simone said, "Think fast. The wedding is in 7 months." Derek spent those 7 months thinking. He confronted Marcus directly. Once, 2 weeks after Simone's call, he said, "Tell me about Simone." Marcus looked at him, said, "What are you talking about?" Derek said, "Don't do that, I know. Tell me what you are going to do about it." Marcus said it was complicated. He said the thing with Simone was ending. He said he loved Angela. He said it would never happen again. Derek looked at him for a long time, then said, "You need to tell her." Marcus said, "I will." He did not. Derek checked. Over the following months, he watched. He watched Marcus plan the wedding, give the deposit on the venue, send the invitations, choose the flowers, stand in a suit fitting, laughing about the future. 3 weeks before the wedding, Derek called Marcus one last time. He said, "Have you told Angela?" Marcus said, "It is handled, leave it alone." Derek was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Okay." Marcus heard that as agreement. It was not agreement. The wedding was on a Saturday in June. The ceremony was beautiful. Angela walked down the aisle, her father beside her. 200 people watching. Marcus stood at the altar, watched her come toward him. He was smiling. He said his vows, every word, looking right at her. Derek stood beside him and said nothing. The reception started at 6. Dinner, dancing, speeches from the parents. The maid of honor stood up and made everyone laugh, and then made everyone cry. The kind of speech that makes you remember why weddings matter. Then, the MC announced the best man. Derek stood up, picked up the microphone, looked at Marcus, then at Angela, then at the room. He said, "I have known Marcus Reed for 22 years, he said. There is nobody in this room who knows him better than I do." People smiled. Angela smiled. Derek said, "Which is why I cannot stand here and say nothing." The room shifted. He said, 7 months ago, I found out that Marcus had been seeing another woman, he said. Her name is Simone Davis. It started 14 months ago, 2 months after he proposed to Angela. Complete silence. He said, I confronted him. He promised me it was over. He promised me he would tell Angela. He said, he did neither. Angela had not moved. She was looking at Derek. Her expression was the expression of someone listening to information that is taking a few seconds to become fully real. Derek said, Angela deserves to know the truth. He said, I am sorry that this is where and how she is finding out. He said, but I would rather stand up here today than stand by for the rest of my life knowing I said nothing. He put the microphone down. He sat down. The room was completely silent for about 5 seconds. Then Angela's mother made a sound. Angela stood up. She looked at Marcus. He started to speak. She held up one hand. He stopped. She reached down, removed her wedding ring, set it on the table in front of him. Then she picked up her bouquet, walked to where her father was sitting, took his hand, and walked out of her own wedding reception, in her wedding dress, in front of 200 people. Without saying a single word, Marcus sat at the head table alone. The ring in front of him, 200 people staring. He looked at Derek. Derek looked back at him, said nothing. Then Derek stood up, straightened his jacket, and walked out too. The next 72 hours, Angela went to her parents' house. She did not answer Marcus's calls. She did not answer anyone's calls. She sat in her childhood bedroom in her wedding dress for 2 hours before her mother helped her out of it. Then she slept for 14 hours. Marcus called her 41 times in the first 24 hours. He left 11 voicemails. He drove to her parents' house. Her father opened the door, said, she does not want to see you, closed it. He called Derek. Derek answered. Marcus said, you destroyed everything. Derek said, no, you did, a long time ago. I just told the truth about it, Marcus said, in front of 200 people, on her wedding day. Derek said, you had 7 months to tell her yourself. You had 3 weeks. You had the morning of the wedding. You had the ceremony. You chose every single time not to. He said, I am not sorry for telling the truth. He said, I am sorry for the way she had to hear it. He said, those are 2 different things. Marcus had nothing left to say. Simone found out about the wedding speech through social media. Someone who had been at the reception posted about it, without names, just the story. But Simone knew. She called Derek. He answered. She said, you actually did it. Derek said, she deserved to know. Simone was quiet for a moment. Then she said, thank you. Derek said, don't thank me. Just make better choices going forward. She said she would. Angela filed for annulment 3 weeks after the wedding. Her attorney, a woman named Claire, described the case as one of the cleaner ones she had handled. The marriage had not been consummated in the legal sense of a valid agreement between equal parties. The annulment was granted. Angela took back her name, Angela Brooks, same name she had walked into that church with. She went back to work 3 weeks later. Her class had made her a card. 23 7-year-olds who did not know what had happened, who just knew she had been away and they had missed her. She read every single message in that card. Then she put it in her desk drawer and started the day. Derek lost Marcus as a friend. That was the cost. He had known it would be. He had sat with that cost for 7 months before he paid it. People he knew had opinions. Some said he was right. Some said the method was wrong. Some said there was a better way. Derek did not argue with any of them. He had made his decision. He had made it from the only place he knew how to make decisions from. He had asked himself one question. If it was me, if I was the one about to marry someone who had been lying to me for 14 months, what would I want someone to do? He had answered it, and he had acted on the answer. He was at peace with that. 2 years later, Angela ran into Derek at a mutual friend's event. She had not seen him since the wedding. She walked over to him. He did not know what to expect. She said, I never thanked you properly. He said, you don't need to thank me. She said, I know, but I want to. She said, the first 6 months were the hardest thing I have ever been through. She said, but I am standing here 2 years later and I am okay. She said, more than okay. She said, you gave me the truth when everyone else was holding champagne. Derek nodded. She said, that took something. He said, so did walking out in that dress. She laughed. First real laugh in that story. They talked for 20 minutes, about nothing important. The easy conversation of 2 people who are both okay. Then Angela said goodbye, walked back to her friends. Derek watched her go. He thought about a microphone in a silent room, a ring placed on a table, a woman walking out of her own wedding in her wedding dress, and he thought, not for the first time, that the hardest thing he had ever done was also the most right. Some truths cost everything to say and everything to hear, but they cost more when nobody says them. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and subscribe to Turning Point Tales. We will see you in